Hi, I'm Daniel, and I just saw the new Netflix animated film Arlo the Alligator Boy that I only heard about a couple of months ago, which is weird for me because I normally know a lot of upcoming films. By the one trailer, I didn't know how to feel about this, but since it was released free on Netflix, I decided to watch and review it. The 1 2 minute trailer couldn't really reveal much of the movie, so instead of discussing that, I'll talk about how little promotion this film got, because aside from one song releasing early, there were no more trailers or clips released to my knowledge before the film's release. I find this weird because there has been a show based on this movie announced called I Had I.O., so Netflix wants this to be a success, but it isn't being advertised. It is on a streaming service, so it can be watched anytime, but still. To start off, the story is pretty generic in a lot of ways. Protagonist wants to get to a place and meet other characters along the way, who might also want to get there too, and they are being chased by villains. That sounds similar to a lot of films, but that description sounds most like the Muppet movie, even down to the fact that the protagonist comes from a swamp. This plot is executed very by the numbers for at least the first half because they get to the destination early and not because of bad pacing like what I said about Sponge on the Run. Also, the ending part is done well, so it slowly starts to pick up once you get to the halfway point. Now, the characters are pretty weak. Ayo is very generic protagonist who wants adventure and to find both his father and himself, just like so many others. The people hunting Ayo are awful villains, who should have been cut out the second half, because I almost forgot they existed whenever they showed up. There's this gang of characters who help Ayo along the way, who have one or less personality traits each. The giant girl is introduced separately and is built up to have a bigger role than the rest of them, but she is also beyond. However, the fish is really funny and has a lot of the best lines, but this group fails because the friendship feels forced because it doesn't get any time to have a connection. In Ryo and the Ash Dragon, their friendship wasn't treated as big, and it also helps that they were introduced separately instead of all together. Finally, there's this character that appears later that I can't name for spoiler reasons, but they are easily the best character and have a better arc than all the other characters in a shorter time. Now onto the animation. The designs look ugly in a stylistic way. It was obviously intentional, so I can't criticize it too much, but I don't like the way it looks. Aside from that, the animation is incredible. The backgrounds look like a painting in how it doesn't have outlines. The movement is really fluid, the film's lighting looks superb, and the cinematography really shines, especially in the songs. Speaking of, Arlo the Alligator Boy's songs are spectacular. Some of the best ones are Beyond These Walls and Better Life for being great musically, and also the Collage of Broken Dreams for being the big reprise song. The song that the movie tries to push the most, Follow Me Home, is probably one of the weaker ones. I don't count the Happy Birthday one, but it's still good enough. Even though they are good, the songs aren't spread out well because there's multiple in the first couple of minutes, and then there is a long gap between songs, and then they come back to it occasionally in the final bit. At least it doesn't forget to put non-reprise songs near the end like most modern animated musicals. Anyway, the songs sound great, but I can see how a lot of them sound pretty similar. Still way better than Tarzan because all the movie songs feel like the same. The music really adds to the scenes and the tone of the film so well that it's the highlight. The comedy is okay. Some bits are funny, some bits aren't, but not painfully unfunny. Most of the good comedy is from that fish though. In conclusion, I give Arlo the Alligator Boy an upper 7 out of 10 and would recommend. It would be 7.5 out of 10 if I included 0.5s in these ratings, and I would recommend it if you have time and have Netflix, but it's far from a must watch. On the ranking, which is now in 2 parts, it is on the lower part slightly in 5th place for having a weak story and characters, but the great music and animation mostly makes it work. And I have a feeling the series could improve a lot of these problems like the characters. The end.